And we do start with this tragic breaking news this afternoon. The first American to orbit the Earth has died. John Glenn was 95 years old.
The former senator from Ohio was admitted into Ohio State's James Cancer Center in late November. According to the Columbus Dispatch, he was surrounded by his immediate family in his final days.
Ohio Governor John Kasich just released a statement saying, as we bow our heads and share our grief with his beloved wife Annie, we must also turn to the skies to salute his remarkable journeys and his long years of service to our state and nation. Though he soared deep into space, into the heights of Capitol Hill, his heart never strayed from the steadfast Ohio roots. Godspeed, John Glenn.
And Senator Rob Portman just tweeted, deeply saddened to learn of the passing of my dear friend John Glenn. John was an American hero and an Ohio legend. Couldn't have said it better. Growing up in Ohio, I always thought of John Glenn as sort of like the grandfather of the state.
And he was such an inspiration to so many looking to go towards, science and space as well. So he certainly will be missed by so many. ABC's Karen Travers has a look at John Glenn's life.
As a statesman, fighter pilot, and astronaut, John Glenn had a knack for being at the right place at the right time with the right stuff.
I guess I've looked at my whole life as being a sort of service to my country.
The son of a plumber and school teacher, Glenn was born and raised in Ohio, where he met and married his childhood sweetheart, Annie. In 1942, he quit college for the military, and as a highly decorated Marine pilot, flew dozens of missions in the Pacific during World War II. In the Korean War, his co-pilot was baseball legend Ted Williams.
As the astronaut prepares for space flight.
After years as a test pilot, Glenn was selected in 1959 to be one of NASA's original 7 Mercury astronauts. He became the first American to orbit the Earth.
Oh, that view is tremendous.
Despite technical problems aboard Friendship 7, Glenn made 3 orbits and landed safely. An appearance before Congress and a ticker-tape parade followed. He became, quite simply, an American hero.
And I'm certainly glad to see that pride in our country and its accomplishments are not a thing of the past.
In 1964, Glenn left the space program for politics. After 2 failed U.S. Senate bids, he won a seat in 1974. He became a Capitol Hill fixture, spearheading policy in the areas of nuclear arms control and foreign affairs. But Glenn had his share of political disappointments, including a failed run for the 1984 Democratic presidential nomination, and a 1990 Senate investigation into his ties to corrupt financier Charles Keating. Glenn was eventually cleared of wrongdoing. After 24 years in Washington, he left the Senate, but not the spotlight.
And liftoff of Discovery with a crew of 6 astronaut heroes and 1 American legend.
In 1998, the 77-year-old Glenn returned to space after 36 years. Criticized by some as a NASA PR stunt, Glenn's 9-day mission aboard the shuttle Discovery studied the effects of weightlessness on aging and inspired seniors around the world.
One thing I promised Annie the day we were married, in addition to our wedding vows, of course, was that I would do everything I could to keep life from being boring.
Following his second historic spaceflight, Glenn remained in the public eye. He'll be remembered as a pioneer, a leader, and a man who seemed happiest when he was serving his country. For John Glenn, it was an amazing ride. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.